Hey, what is going on, Guardians? My name is the Black Link, and today is August 23rd, a Thursday, so you know what that means. It's time for another issue of the Bungie Weekly Blog, This Week at Bungie, and this one's a very special edition of the TWAB. We're just a few weeks out from the official drop of Destiny 2 Forsaken, and 1 week away from the big update patch 2.0, which is going to give us all kinds of crazy changes to Destiny 2. And for the most part, this week's TWAB is covering a lot of the changes that are going to be dropping next week. So let's go ahead and dive on into some of the biggest changes talked about in this week's TWAB. Now, of course, if you weren't around earlier today, Bungie announced quite a few things. One, we got a brand new Cayde 6 trailer that shows off some of the famous Hunter Vanguard's final moments within the Prison of Elders. We've got a previous video talking a bit about that and some of the other news that we learned today. GAMBIT is going to be getting a 24-hour trial beginning on September 1st, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time and going until September 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Now, this 24-hour trial is going to be open to all players of Destiny 2, whether you've purchased Forsaken or not. Everybody's going to get a chance to go in on that Saturday and play a bit of some of that GAMBIT game mode, see whether or not you like it, and get a feel for what's going to be dropping in the full game mode in Forsaken. This is fantastic. I'm certainly somebody who's really excited to test out the GAMBIT game mode, so I'm very happy we're going to be getting a chance to do that on Saturday, September 1st, and going until Sunday, September 2nd. And as you can see, they say in the TWAB here, you'll have to wait until after September 4th to start earning GAMBIT-specific rewards and ranking up your infamy, but you will still see some Year 1 reward drops in this GAMBIT game mode. So, in addition to just being a good time, you'll also be getting some drops when you play GAMBIT on that specific date. Cannot wait. After that, we get to hear a bit from Bungie senior designer Joe Blackburn to tell us a bit more about when exactly the raid in Forsaken is going to be live. Here's what Joe had to say. Forsaken is proof that the full Destiny 2 experience is just beginning when the campaign comes to a close. With so many new things to do and so much power to gain, we knew that players would need more than just 3 days to prepare for the incredible challenges of Forsaken's raid. That's why Last Wish, the next chapter in Destiny's raiding legacy, goes live on September 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, a week and a half after you'll first set foot on the Tangled Shore. Good luck, Guardians. And there we go. If you've been wondering about when the next raid is going to be dropping, that's your answer. A full week and a half after we start our journeys in Forsaken, the Last Wish raid lines right up with that leak from previous weeks. That's going to be dropping on September 14th, giving you Guardians plenty of time to prepare for your excursion into the Dreaming City. Alright, and after that, we get to hear a bit from Josh Hamrick about some of the incoming changes to the mod system. In this section, Hamrick explains a bit more about where you'll be getting mods in Forsaken, how you'll utilize them on weapons and armor, and what exactly those mods will be doing. And so we'll take a little bit of time to cover some of the things he had to say. He says specifically, Year 2 mods come from the following sources. All exotic armor drops, regardless of year, have a chance to come equipped with a mod. Non-raid Year 2 legendary weapons and armor drops have a small chance to come equipped with a mod as well. And of course, when it comes to these, you're free to keep the weapon should that particular weapon and mod combo suit your needs, or you may choose to dismantle the weapon to break out the mod for use elsewhere. You may pull mods out of gear for use in other gear by dismantling the original item they dropped in. They showed this off on stream a week or so ago, where if you get a weapon drop or an armor drop that has a specific mod that you want, dismantling that piece of gear will drop that mod for you so you can apply it to whatever you want. They go on to clarify that weapons and armor purchased from vendors do not come with mods, but if you have the mod components and Glimmer necessary to feed your habit, you may choose to go straight to Banshee 44, who will have 2 mod packages available for purchase. You can direct buy Year 2 armor and weapon mods that are updated daily from Banshee, finally giving the gunsmith a bit more use than just a place to dump your Glimmer. Now, for those mod components, you can of course acquire mod components for trading with Banshee 44 by dismantling other loose mods. For armor, Year 2 armor mods will always drop 1 mod component when dismantled. Year 1 legendary armor mods always drop 1 mod component when dismantled, and Year 1 rare armor mods will have a small chance of dropping 1 mod component when dismantled. And of course, you've got yourself a similar system when it comes to the weapons as well. Finally, at the launch of Forsaken on September 4th, Year 1 armor mods in your inventory will cease to work but can be dismantled or traded for materials. Year 1 armor mods currently slotted into your Year 1 armor will cease to work but remain slotted into the armor. And Year 2 armor mods will be able to be slotted into both Year 1 and Year 2 armor mod slots. So you can take the new mods that we're going to be getting in Forsaken and apply them to old gear. And you'll definitely be dismantling a lot of the old mods we've got right now in Year 1. But alright, that is it for the mod talk. Let's move on to something a bit meatier. The next part of the patch notes talks specifically about some of the sandbox changes coming to weapons, to perks, and to classes. And you know this is the good stuff. This is the stuff we always want to see, so we're going to be going through these very quickly. First up are the class changes. For hunters, Marksman's Dodge is now considered a reload. It can interact with Kill Clip, Rat King, and etc. This is awesome. This means that those perks that activate upon reload are now going to be triggered by your Marksman's Dodge. Fantastic change. For exotic armor changes, Celestial Nighthawk will now grant 33% of your super energy back if a target is killed by the golden gunshot. That's fantastic. It's incentivizing you to utilize your Celestial Nighthawk rather than just holding on to it for a specific boss. Next up, we've got some changes coming to the Wormhusk Crown. And yes, it is indeed a bit of a nerf. We knew this one was coming. Wormhusk will no longer start regeneration of health and shields, but instead will grant a larger health and shield bump at the beginning of dodge instead of at the end. This is of course a change made to stem the rising tide of hunters utilizing Wormhusk in both quick play and competitive PvP. It was a change I think a lot of us knew was going to come eventually. Alright, moving on to Warlocks. You're gaining increased healing rift effectiveness, and your empowering rift now increases precision damage in PvP. This is a change we've known about for a little bit of time. They talked about it on previous live streams. For exotic armor, the Skull of Dire Ahamkara is getting increased super energy gained from Nova Bomb kills, and killing higher ranked enemies will grant more super energy, just kind of mixing that old Obsidian Mind effect right back into the Skull of Dire Ahamkara, making it a bit more pronounced. Fantastic. And for the transversive steps, you're gaining enhanced mobility, and after you sprint for a short time, your currently equipped weapon will be automatically reloaded. Which means less time spent reloading, more time spent moving, which is a fantastic change for that. After that, we got the changes coming to Titans. Rally Barricade no longer requires players to take cover to reload. It now feeds ammo into your magazine over time. This is great. This means you don't have to sit there and, tap a key over and over again to crouch and stand back up. As long as you're sitting behind that rally barricade, you're just going to get that ammo fed back into your magazine over time. For the armor, the Helm of Saint 14 now grants allies an overshield for a short duration when they're passing through Ward of Dawn. Sounds an awful lot like Blessing or Armor of Light to me, tied into a helmet. I still think we should have those selectable perks added back to the Bubble Bro, but I'll take this change for the Helm of Saint 14 either way. Then for the Mask of the Quiet One, you're gaining increased energy gain from incoming damage, and while critically wounded, health will be granted from kills. This is actually a really interesting change. I really like that you're going to be getting health back whenever you get killed, since that kind of ties right into the Mask of the Quiet One's special ability of, restoring its own energy and whatnot. Alright, let's move on to the grenades. First up, Axion Bolt is gaining increased base damage, and they've increased the amount of time it takes for tracking strength to lessen. And for Flashbang, Incendiary Grenades, and Storm Grenades, they've increased the base damage of all three of those options. For Scatter Grenades, they've retuned range and fall-off ranges for the detonations for more reliable damage with those grenades. Next up, of course, are the Stickies. For Magnetic, Fusion, and Flux Grenades, they've increased base damage, and damage is now the same whether a target has been stuck or simply walked over a grenade when detonating. Magnetic Grenades now detonate a second time only if it's attached to a target, and the second detonation no longer only occurs on the grenade itself and will now be applied to each individual target hit by the initial detonation. Then for Skip Grenades, they've increased impact damage of each skip drone impact for a higher total potential damage. And finally for Void Wall, they've increased the damage of the initial Void Wall wave. Which is some interesting stuff. I'm glad to see that grenades all across the board are getting stronger. I still wish the cooldowns would be a little bit lessened. You guys know I went back and I've played a lot of D1 over the past couple of days, and it's just really hard going back and feeling the crispness of 25-second cooldowns for grenades and then going back to what we have in D2 right now. But anyways, I'm still happy to see some buffs for abilities all across the board. After that, we've got some pretty big quality of life changes coming. For one, swords are finally gaining the ability to accept shaders, which is a change that has been long awaited. Another thing that I'm really happy to see coming back, wanted escapees from the Prison of Elders will roam the open world, but they will not drop rewards until September 4th, 2018. This is amazing because it kind of calls back to the days of the Blades of Crota invading public spaces, or when the wolves would start prowling and you'd have the House of Wolves ships dropping in and dropping keys and all that kind of stuff. It's great to see that they're bringing these sorts of almost pre-DLC expansion drop enemies out into the world space to kind of get you acclimated to them. And curiously, they're increasing the difficulty of lost sectors. For example, the EDZ lost sectors will become 240 power. Xur's also going to be seeing some changes. The weekend vendor's location will no longer be displayed on destination maps, he will no longer be tied to flashpoints, and of course he's got a clear purpose but can't explain it. You're gonna have to forgive him. Faded engrams will only grant pre-Forsaken exotics. So if you're somebody who doesn't like the fact that you can, buy that faded engram and just get your hands on exotics, that's going to be changing a bit in Forsaken. You'll be able to get year 1 exotics from that faded engram, but not so much the year 2 Forsaken stuff. I wouldn't be too surprised if Bungie continues the philosophy of putting a lot of the new exotics behind some sort of questline. I think I'm perfectly fine with that. Alright Guardians, that is pretty much it for the weekly TWAB rundown for the week of August 24th, 2018. Quite the meaty TWAB. We got to see a pretty good preview of some of the stuff coming in Update 2.0. That clarification on mods. We now know, of course, the confirmed name of the raid, Last Wish, and its release date of 10 a.m. Pacific time on September 14th. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about, and next week's going to be a huge week. Update 2.0 is dropping on the 28th. Make sure you're ready for that. That's going to be bringing in the weapon slot changes, so make sure you're tuned in and staying up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 news. But alright, that's going to be it for this one, Guardians. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with everything we're putting out. But alright, I'm out for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.